Hello, everyone, and welcome to TryThisAt.Work. So excited to be back. I know we've had a little bit of a break. My name is Kelly Cleland. I am a Customer Success Manager for Microsoft and a TryThisAt.Work leader. I'm also joined by my peer, Scott Rendell. He is a partner technical architect and also one of my fellow TryThisAt.Work leaders. So for today, I'm really going to be the one actually presenting on Power Virtual Agents, right? And I know I'm not the technical person, you could say, in the room, virtual room right now, but that's for a reason, because I want to make sure that everybody that's attending this call today, regardless of skill level, understands that it's very easy for anyone to be able to set up a Power Virtual Agent inside of Teams. So that's the purpose for me showing you this, is because I am not a technical resource. I'm focused on adoption and change management of Microsoft Teams. So I want to show you just how easy it is to go about setting up these bots. All right, so most of today is going to be purely demo for today's event. So again, a few housekeeping items. Again, this is a live event. We in no way, shape, or form leverage, use, capture, or do anything with your data. So even if you're authenticating through Office 365, privacy is of the utmost importance to Microsoft, and we will not use that in any way if we have your email address. Okay, so with that, we're going to hop right into it. And again, you're going to see just how easy it is to build out these Power Virtual Agents. So really what I wanted to start with is, so Power Virtual Agents, and this is literally my only slide, I promise. Power Virtual Agents, basically there is now an app inside of Microsoft Teams. You can see here, I have it on the screen. It's literally, you just type in into your apps inside of Teams to search for Power Virtual Agents, and you'll be able to pull up that app inside of Teams and be able to start building out these bots. Just a few ideas for these bots. These are very common, right? New employees. New employees tend to have a lot of questions, and a lot of them tend to be very common in terms of what they're asking for, right? It's around HR and, policies for the organization and, how to find things. And so there's a lot of, just a lot of Q&A that goes on for new employees, as we know. And so it's great to be able to equip them with a very easy to use bot where they can just type in their question or keyword and get a return of information that's going to benefit them, and also, right, streamline their onboarding. There's also return to work, right? So as I love, somebody used the word for digital, physical and digital. So as we return to this hybrid workplace, there's a lot of questions around that. So why not use a Power Virtual Agent bot to help facilitate, some of that Q&A. Also, we know the most common is from an HR perspective. Everybody always has questions around HR and time off and how does that accrue and extended leave. We're actually going to touch on that one today in the demo showcase that I'm going to show you. But you can use a Power Virtual Agent bots for a lot of different things. So, example is sort of directing on how to. So, right, it's still questions and answers, but it's a little bit different take on it. So for example, here that I gave is for finance, right? So expense reporting help, like filling that out. What do you do? So there's so many amazing, great things that you can do with Power Virtual Agents. And these are just the very simple ideas. You can really get, I would say, I don't want to say, advanced in the Power Virtual Agents, but there's just a lot of options that you have, and there's just so much that you can do with them. So really just, we're going to review some of those options today. It'll start giving you some ideas, but just know that you have so many options in terms of actions and triggers and how you can set this up to take advantage of even what you already have today that you could put into a bot. So we're going to review that today. So really, the two things we're going to show is a bot in 5. Yes, absolutely, 5 minutes or less. We're going to talk about that with topic suggestions, and I'm going to show you how to do that. Basically, it's when you have an existing FAQ page and just pulling those questions into your Power Virtual Agent. So super easy. That's like the extra easy button. And then the other easy button is just honestly creating a Scratch bot. So bot from scratch. And in this case, we are going to use an HR bot. That's going to be the example that I'm going to show you. And we're even going to include an automate action where a you're actually going to pass through a card over to the HR team based off of somebody's inquiry inside of the bot where they need to get more information about extended leave. And so I'll just end with, I kind of put that up here, if I can do this, you can do this. That is so absolutely true. I cannot tell you enough that, this is just very, very easy, and you're going to see just how easy it is. Okay, so first of all, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so the first thing, remember what I told you, is that there is the Power Virtual Agent app here. So again, how you find an app is here. You could just simply search for Power Virtual Agent. I obviously already have it installed and also pinned to my left rail. But if you're not seeing it, you could go to more apps, you can search for it. If you're not seeing it again, maybe there's some, restrictions in terms of who they're allowing to set those up right now. So I would just ask IT, submit a request and just say, hey, I'm looking to set up Power Virtual Agent, to facilitate for this business request. And, can you please approve that? Okay, so with that, we're going to go ahead and get started. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the Power Virtual Agent app. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and just get started. So start now. You can learn more about this. Obviously, you can move through this at your pace and as you want to learn. There's a lot of information out online. And honestly, the videos and these resources that they provide to you is honestly fantastic as well. All right, so first thing it's going to ask you is what team is your bot joining? And if you hover on this little eye, it's actually going to tell you what this means. So you're basically selecting a team, and right, you could have a team that manages all of the bots if there's, just a subset of people that create and manage the bots. But basically, you're selecting a team to own and manage your bot. So for example, if it's HR that is creating a bot, for human resources FAQs, it would make sense for it to go there. All right, in this case, I'm just going to select Contoso, which is just obviously our Microsoft made-up company. And I'm going to go ahead and continue. All right, and the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to give our bot a name. In this case, remember, my first example is going to be the suggested topics. So first thing I'm going to do is give this a name of what it is. And in this case, I'm actually covering Microsoft Search FAQs. So that's exactly what I'm going to call it, Search FAQs. You can also select a language. So again, depending on where you're building this out and your global spread, you can obviously select whatever language you need. Nice to know that it exists there. So that way you are creating bots for, everyone in your global organization if needed. And it's just going to work on it for a minute and create it. You can see it's actually pretty fast. Okay, so here we are. So this is the screen that you're going to come to, and you can see here, right? So this is my Contoso team, and it's a Search FAQs bot that I've now created, but obviously I haven't created anything yet, but I'm going to show you how to do that. You can see there's a couple options here. This is sort of your homepage for your chat bot. I have the ability to test my bot, which we are going to do. I'm just going to go ahead and close that out for now. So for getting started, it actually sets you up here in order for how you're going to control sort of the flow of what you're going to do. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to topics, right? Topics, that's where you're essentially defining the Q&A. Now, in this case, it does give you some examples. There's some lessons here, essentially, where you could open these up and take a look at exactly, what have they set up here? What are the trigger phrases that they've entered? And you can also go to this authoring canvas, which is essentially where you're defining, okay, so someone has typed in a trigger phrase, when are you open? The authoring canvas is actually where you're defining what those answers are that are going to come back in the bot. So I'm just going to skip over that for now, because again, we're going to go back to that when we're creating new bots. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to go ahead and select suggested, and I'm going to go ahead and get started, because again, this is where we're going to be feeding in our cloud-based secure URL. So I am going to go ahead and I am going to take the Microsoft Search FAQs URL, and I'm just going to paste it in here and click add. And it's going to take a minute for this to basically to process. So just a couple of things that I want to mention while this is actually building out. So again, secure URL, cloud-based URL. So I mean, if it's internal and it's sitting on a SharePoint site right now, right, that clearly that classifies. Obviously from a permission perspective, make sure individuals can access that. You can add multiple web pages at once, but the recommendation is that you only include a few at a time, and keep just that way you're keeping the list of suggestions manageable. Also, you're not going to be able to add new cloud-based URLs until this is done running. So see, you can see here it's still working, and it says getting your suggestion. This may take several minutes. So it'll be done here in just a second. So again, just be patient. It's going to process through, and you're eventually going to see all of the Q&A that I see here. So right, it's going to basically all of these questions and answers that are right here are going to pull into my suggested topics, which is what just happened. So now you're seeing every single one of those FAQs on that Microsoft search page has now been pulled into suggestions. And it's as easy as that. I literally have questions and answers for my bot at this point. Okay, so now what we want to do is we actually want to review each of these, right? So these are just suggested. They're not actually added to our bot yet. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up because this is basically a preview. So again, the trigger phrase is actually they're using the entire question, and then the message is essentially the response to the FAQ that's out on that site, and then end with a survey. This is conversation end always ends with a survey. It makes it really easy. Again, when we go to create a from scratch bot, you're going to see this, but that's the way that you close it out and you essentially end a topic. It's very easy to edit the topics, and I highly recommend actually that you do edit these topics. What it's going to do is it's actually going to open it up so we can edit this topic here, both from a trigger phrase perspective, right? So I could enter in some trigger phrases, which this is just what the user might search by, right? Query, advanced query, and right, I'm abbreviating here. So you can just sort of like, what is it that you think the user might search for from a trigger phrase perspective? So when I feel good and comfortable with that, I don't really need to go to the authoring canvas because really these are already created. So I'm just going to go ahead and go back. And when I feel good about all of these Q&As, and you can see here, I can add to existing topics. This is actually you adding it to the search FAQ bot, or I can delete if I don't want the question and answer to be in there. Maybe it's old. Oops, just here, wait, what am I doing? Select all. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and select all of these because I completely feel comfortable. I know that this is accurate Q&A, and I'm just going to go ahead and say add to topics. And now what this is doing is it is moving these from suggested over to what is actually going to be my topics for the search FAQs. Now you're not done yet. There's still another step that you need to take. When they get moved over from suggested, the status reflex is off. Before you can test this and before you publish it, you have to make sure to turn these on. Once they are turned on, then they are active specifically for your bot, and you can begin testing, and then you can publish. So once I feel comfortable with everything, we're going to go ahead and just test this bot. All right, so I'll just type in a keyword. Well, I guess I should use something that I used. Okay, so advanced query. All right. So you can see here automatically it knew because I changed that trigger word to abbreviated advanced query, and it automatically came back. You can see the bot came back with that answer, and it's asking me, did that answer your question? So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to select yes. That was fantastic. You gave me exactly what I needed. I'm going to give it a 5. Thanks for your feedback. Can I help with anything else? No, thanks, bot. I'm good. Thanks for chatting with me. Bye. So you can see here just how easy that was to set up. I'm done. And a lot of, when I said 5 minutes, it was really technically under 5 minutes. It's just that I'm explaining it to you. So I'm not going to go into publishing yet. So the only thing I'm going to mention because we're going to go create a from scratch bot, and then I'm going to show you how to publish. But the only thing I'm going to mention against this suggested topics, again, please make sure that you remember to flip your status on. Again, you can, as you saw on the prior page, or even here, you can add new topics, right? So if you want to add to your FAQs, if you need to edit any of these, right, all that flexibility is there and baked in. So I highly encourage you to test every single one of your questions and just make sure that before you publish, that everything is functioning as it should. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go back, because now remember what I said is that we are going to move on and we're going to create a from scratch bot. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to click start again, because I'm going to create a new bot. And in this case, this is going to be an HR bot. So I'm going to go ahead and have it be, have the bot join the HR team. Okay, and it's going to get things ready. And as you know, this doesn't take very long. So we're just going to give it a few moments here. Actually, I can close out of this because we're not going to need that guy anymore. All right, so, and for this example, the from scratch bot. So again, we're just going to create basically an employee time off bot. And we're going to ask some very basic questions, respond with a message, bake out some trigger words around that. Really the HR bots, I mean, there's generally a lot of Q&A, and I have to imagine that it'll be pretty easy to use the suggested topics for any bot really that you're going to be using. In this case, we're going to do a HR FAQ bot, all focused around time off. And then when we, oh, here we go. Oh, I don't know what's going on with that. Okay, wait, I'm just going to check it here. Okay, new chatbot. We're just going to start over. I'm not sure what, it seems like it timed out a little bit. I don't know if it's my connection or not. So I'm just going to start it all over again. We'll give it a minute. Hopefully it won't take too long this time. Here we go. Okay, I don't know. Maybe it was just my connection that got held up for a minute. Okay, so again, this is all around time off. So I'm going to go ahead and give this a name. So this is going to be HR, FAQ bot. Keep it in English and go ahead and create. All right, so this guy's going. So basically there's going to be, just to kind of show you this, we're going to have 3 different options specifically for what I'm going to set up and demonstrate to you today: paid vacation, national holidays, and extended leave. And for the extended leave, I'm actually going to attach a flow to that one. So, right, for extended leave, it's going to require an HR conversation. So we are actually going to kick off a flow and basically submit that request into the HR team. So they're going to get an adaptive card, and they're going to know that somebody needs to pick that up and follow up with that user. Okay, so not ready to test my bot. I'm going to close out of that, and we're going to go ahead and go to topics. So we're going to start building these out. All right, so first things first, I'm actually going to create a new topic, because again, this is a from scratch bot. And you can get rid of, by the way, all of the just sort of the sample topics that are in there. You can delete those out of there. I'm just, for the sake of time, I'm not going to do it. Okay, so first topic. All right, so we're going to say employee time off. I could give it a friendly name. I could give it a description. And then, right, we want to create some trigger phrases. So I need time off, time off. I need help with time off, PTO, how many PTO days do I have? What are the national holidays? Boy, I keep capitalizing there, don't I? Okay. What are the national holidays? And then I need extended leave. So just kind of trying to touch on all of those trigger phrases here. And once I feel good about it, I can just go ahead and go to my authoring canvas. This is really the authoring canvas, is essentially where you're building out how the bot is functioning. And it's really simple. Again, don't feel overwhelmed with it. Okay, so first things first, right? When a user opens up the bot and they kick it off, they're going to put in a trigger phrase, right? They're searching for something. All right, so first things first, we want to make sure that a user knows that we're here to help them. So we're going to go ahead and first start off with a message. I can help with questions related to time off. Okay, so with that, now, really, that's not enough, right? That's just a message. Now we need to ask them a little bit more. So we're going to ask them a question. What information are you looking for specifically related to time off? So in this case, we want to leave multiple choice options. And we are going to go ahead and we're going to enter 3 options. So we're going to enter paid vacation. We are going to enter national holidays. Oops. It's hard when you know somebody's watching you type. And then we're going to go ahead and type in extended leave. Okay. Now, these are the options you can see here. It's building out the actual conditions right below automatically. So it's very friendly. Now, I am going to change the variable text just to make it less generic, and you'll kind of see why I'm going to do this once we get to extended leave. So in this case, I'm just going to call it time off type. Right. Just going to close that out. And you can see here, right, it just, as soon as so for this response is time off type, right, paid vacation, national holidays, extended leave, it automatically updates each of the variables aligned to these conditions. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're actually going to start answering some of these. So if a user selects paid vacation, what do you want the bot to respond with? In this case, it's a simple message. If they're asking about paid vacation, they need to go to our internal site that gives them information about paid time off. So in this case, we're just simply going to respond with a message, and that is all there is to it. So we are going to end with a survey, which is essentially ending the bot conversation. And we're going to do the same thing with national holidays. So I'm going to go ahead and copy here some national holidays. We're going to respond again with a message. So show a message. Just going to paste it in there. In this case, this is a text. They're not going anywhere. But I feel good with that. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to end with a survey. All right. So that basically leaves us, right, with this last option, which is extended leave. And remember, in this case, I said that extended leave, it's going to prompt for an HR conversation, right? So they want to make sure that anyone who's inquiring about extended leave is actually speaking to someone in HR about their request and understands the policies. So in this case, what we're going to do first, if somebody asks for extended leave, first we're going to show a message. Extended leave needs HR expert approval. Let me connect you with them. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to add an action to basically send an adaptive card over to HR. But the first thing that we want to do is we actually want to ask them for some information. So in this case, we need to get a little more information to send over in that adaptive card. So we're going to paste in here, how would you describe the issue? Obviously, you can change this to whatever you want it to say, but what's your question about extended leave? And then in this case, we're not going to do multiple choice. We want them actually typing in a response. You can see here, there's a lot of options here in terms of what that identification is for this question. In this case, user's entire response, it's a text response. And then specifically for this, right, we know that this is going to basically be a description. So we're going to edit this variable and we're going to call it a description. Okay. And again, you can, right, I'll just here click save. So you kind of know, right, you can click save at any point in time here. Okay. Okay, so now we're ready to call an action, which is going to be the flow to the team, basically sending the user's response into the team so the HR team can take action. So I'm simply going to select call an action. And I already have a send a message to a Teams channel flow here, but just for the sake of showing you, I'm going to go ahead and click create a flow. And it's going to give you some options, basically. So you've got the Power Virtual Agents flow template, send a message to a Teams channel, send an adaptive card to a Teams channel. I think I talked about sending an adaptive card for the sake of keeping it simple. We'll just do the send a message to a Teams channel. And you're going to see there really isn't much for me to do here because Power Automate is automatically pulling this into the Power Virtual Agents app here. And essentially, it has this set up for me. So you can see here, right, it's going to pull through from the Power Virtual Agent. It basically is going to pull through the subject and the message, so essentially the input from the user, and it's going to post a message into the team that I specify. And I can add, obviously, I can add additional things to the message, but basically all I really need to do is say, where is this going? What team and what channel? So I would just select human resources and I would just select the channel within human resources. So I'm just going to go ahead and close that because I actually already have the flow created. But honestly, all you would do in that case, select the team, select the channel, and then what you're going to do is just click save. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to come back, and you can see nothing's been added yet. So I'm going to come back here and I'm going to go ahead and that flow that I created, I'm going to call an action, and now that flow is going to be here. So you can see here, send a message to a Teams channel. That flow has already been created. And so I can simply select that option. Now what we want to do to make sure that it's getting the appropriate values, and this is also why I, had mentioned name your variables. So from a subject standpoint, right, this is all about what? It's all about time off. So we are going to go ahead and select the variable time off type. See, this is where these variables, these naming of things make sense. And then from a message standpoint, right, for extended leave, remember we did a save responses description. So we're going to go ahead and pull in that description variable. And now we actually have our action attached to this request for extended leave. So now we're not quite done yet, because even though we have this action, we want to make sure that the user knows that we have actually notified the expert. So there's some type of validation that that's occurred. So we're going to go ahead and add another node, and we're going to say show a message. And we're going to put in, we've notified the expert. They will be reaching out shortly. So now we're ready to go ahead. There's nothing else to do. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to end with survey. That's going to end the bot conversation, and we're done. So let's go ahead and just save this. And so now it's saving the dialogue, and we're going to go ahead and test the bot, and then I'm going to show you how to publish. All right, dialogue saved successfully. Let's go ahead and test this guy. All right, so time off. Let's see what happens. Okay. So now, as you can see, and again, I'm just testing here, nothing's been published. So this is purely my sort of building and testing environment, all in one, which is fantastic. And I'm still in Teams. So I can see any messages that are urgent coming in. Okay, so time off, I can help with questions related to time off. What information are you looking for? And here we go. Here are the options. Paid vacation. So let me go ahead and just show you that. Paid vacation gives me that response. Did that answer your question? Yes. Great, rate your experience. And there are actually analytics on the back end for this bot, showing how satisfied someone is with the bot and is it actually addressing their questions. So, we can save that for another day. This is just for the build out. No thanks, I'm good. Now we're going to go ahead. Obviously the same thing will happen for national holidays. So let's just type in time off again. And let's go ahead and select the extended leave this time. Okay. Extended leaves need HR expert approval. Let me connect you with them. How would you describe the issue? I need to, if I can type, better understand the extended leave policy. Okay. And what's going to happen? You just saw the action, right? See the check marks? It kicked off that flow. That's going to go into the HR team. And now it's saying, again, or as a response, great, we've notified the expert. They will be reaching out shortly. Did that answer your question? Yes or no. You can see here, right, it just kind of repeats. So you're just going to test everything, every scenario question, and just make sure that everything looks good. So in this case, I'm super satisfied, and everything, all the flows went through. So now really, we're ready to publish this bot. So I'll show you what the response looks like in a minute. But the first thing we're going to do is go through publishing. So we've built our bot. We're super happy with it. And now we are ready to publish. So again, you can delete all of these lesson ones and all the other stuff. So let's just pretend like all of your topics here, everything that need, essentially all the topics that need to be attached to the HR FAQ bot. Again, you can always edit, you can always delete topics, you can republish. So right, tons of flexibility that that's built in here. If you have a really long list, you can even see over here, you can search existing topics. And again, you can pull in suggested. So modifying these bots is super easy at any point in time, whenever you need to. But we are ready to publish this HR FAQ bot. So I'm going to just go ahead and click publish. And first things first, you need to publish your bot before it'll actually be available to users. So that's the first thing. So make sure you thoroughly tested it. Go ahead and select publish. It's going to prompt you for publishing the latest content. And now it's published. And now we're ready to, right, you can open the bot and start chatting with your bot in Microsoft Teams, right? So you can see here, I now have an HRQ FAQ bot. I'm going to go ahead and add that guy. And there he is. I'll come back to the HR FAQ bot in just a minute. I'm actually going to go back because what I want to show you is the option from a publishing standpoint is also, sharing out your HR bot here. All right, so I'm just going to go back to this guy. And I'm just going to publish him again. And here we go. So we'll just pretend whatever, we made some changes, we published. I've obviously already published, so I'm not going to do that again. But we're going to share our bot. So we don't make sure that we're sharing our bot with the organization, with a specified subset of individuals, whatever the case may be. You can edit the details of your bot. So if you want to change the color of this guy, you can change the icon if you have an icon, description, long description. There's even some developer details here if you want to keep track of that. In this case, I'm fine with how it is. You can submit for admin approval. So share with my organization, right? So basically you can go ahead and just submit for that, for admin approval. In this case, I'm technically an admin in this demo tenant. So right, in this case, it's going to be an organization-wide share for the HR support bot. So now that's going to go ahead, it's going to go through the approval essentially for the admin. Obviously, I am an admin, so it's automatically going to approve it. But again, even if you wanted to share it with a subset of users or a specific team, or for a specific team, you can just say add to teams here. And right, this is essentially now, this is going to be available for, right, your bot is now available in the built by your colleagues section on Teams. So now individuals are going to be able to look for this bot inside of the Microsoft Teams App Store, and they're going to be able to add it. So now I'm just going to go ahead again and show you what that looks like. So you can see here, here's this little guy. I can pull him in, I can pin him so he's sticky in the left rail, and I can start interacting with him. So again, here we go, time off. I can help you with that, right? We could say extended leave. It's going to go through the whole thing again. I need help. Okay, see, so you can see it works fantastic. Now, not only can you, right, just pin this bot in the left rail, but you can actually also pin this as a tabs inside of Teams if you want. Now, in this case, what I wanted to show you here, aside from that, is that now I'm over in the HR team. So here are those cards. Here are those notification cards that got pulled over. So clearly, right, I'm an administrator that set up the app, and I also interacted with it. So that's why it says administrator here. But if I was a user, basically, right, it's going to be my notification coming over saying, hey, Kelly Cleland has needs extended leave support, right? She said, I need to better understand the extended leave policy. That's a trigger essentially. So within the HR team, we can say, hey, at, well, maybe not human resources team, but whoever belongs to this team. Actually, I don't even think I added team members to my demo team yet for HR. But essentially I could mention someone, and I could just say, hey, do you have this one? Are you going to follow up with Kelly? Or whatever the case may be. But now we've sort of, we've got a reference of, hey, interaction needs to happen with HR team around extended leave in this individual. So again, you can also add a tab into your team. So if you actually wanted to add the bot into the team, you could certainly do that as well. But obviously for just a recommendation, if it's FAQs or if it's a type of Power Virtual agent that truly is applicable across all of your teams in your organization, highly recommend making it available or pinning it on the left rail. You could even use these Power Virtual agents for, even projects, potentially org-wide projects that you're working on and rollouts. Okay, so really, that is all that I actually had for you today. So I hope that it was very informative. It looks like Scott actually took care of all the questions that were in the queue. So hey, thanks, Scott, for doing that. It looks like they were some pretty simple ones and ones that I actually covered as we were moving along there. So really quick to wrap up, again, thank you so much for attending today. Just to highlight some upcoming events. So the next event on March 25th is the App Template Showcase. So we're going to just be showing some of like the top apps that our customers have actually implemented and we think would be valuable for you to take a look at as well. Again, that's going to be a demo showcase. And then on April 8th, we're going to be talking about pinned apps for consideration and just automating your day. So kind of we're going to revisit Power Automate a little bit more. Again, our events are always posted on demand. So just go to TryThisAt.Work and go to the On Demand tab and you will find all of our recordings. And I just want to say thank you so much, everyone. Again, we really appreciate it and look forward to having you on future TryThisAt.Work events. Thank you so much and have a great day.